Hi everyone and welcome. In this recording, we're taking a look at how the year 2021 is potentially going to be playing out for all of the 12 signs of the zodiac. This is the first part of the recording where we're going to take a look at Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and Virgo, and the second part is going to follow where we'll analyze the remaining last 6 signs of the zodiac. If you'd like to know the most relevant astrological aspects and how they're going to be influencing the events that are going to be playing out in 2021, we have another separate video for that, which you can check out in our YouTube channel. And it also has a general tarot reading for the year 2021. And finally, before I get into the reading, I would just like to wish each and every one of you, on behalf of the 1 Million Nights team, a very, very happy, prosperous, and magical new year. So let us begin our horoscope by taking a look at how 2021 is likely to play out for natives born under the sign of Aries. Your cards are the 2 of Swords reversed, the 10 of Swords reversed, and the Judgment reversed. Now, before we even take a look at the symbolism of the cards, we can notice that all of them are in reverse position, which is actually quite a really positive sign, because it means that this year is going to feel totally different, almost like the opposite of what you guys have experienced these last couple of years. And also, this massive difference is partially due to very relevant inner work that you guys have done the last 2 years, and another part of this is due to karmic forces which simply have to rearrange or change, improve, maybe upgrade certain situations in your life, and these situations are really long-term ones. Like, for example, your relationship with your family, with your parents maybe, your relationship with your children if you are parents yourselves. But these are basically just examples. It can be any major theme in your life which basically stayed the same, operated on the same frequency. It was basically the same thing all over again each and every year. And it is exactly those areas of your life which have been the same. It doesn't necessarily have to mean stagnation, but the frequency, the feeling, the events playing out, the cycles, though overall feeling was basically the same. You could easily anticipate what comes next because it was almost like the same schematic playing out over and over and over again each and every year. So this is definitely going to be a major upgrade because it is in those areas of life which were somewhat stable, even if that stability wasn't really perceived by you guys as something positive or helpful, because, no matter how much initiative you had to change, to upgrade, to embrace something different, all those initiatives of yours didn't actually succeed in a way that you would have liked it to. So the year 2021 is going to be much more permissive with everything that you guys initiate. May that be a business idea, may that be a change of routine, may that be a different lifestyle, or may that be certain relationships having to be enacted, be felt, be experienced in a different way. So this already represents a greater degree of freedom that you guys are going to have in your lives. And this is really, really good news for any Aries native, because freedom is one of those things which you truly value and almost worship the most in life. And the very first card which opens your reading, the 2 of Swords reversed, is also very suggestive of this greater heightened degree of freedom that you guys are going to have in your lives, including maybe legally, including in any way, shape or form. Because the Two of Swords reversed means that finally you are able to make certain very impactful choices, some of which will have legal consequences as well. It is a really good sign because on one hand, you will have all the information that you need. You will have all the advice, guidance that you need in order for your decision, for your choice, when you express your will, for that to be aligned with your truth and also with logic and rationality, so it will make a lot of sense both for you personally, regarding your situation, and of course regarding others. And this choice or decision can also influence your contracts, all those agreements that you have in your life right now. So that can be, like a job, a career. It can have anything to do with your home, with your legal status. But it can be something as simple as finally figuring out what you want to do next in life, who it is that you would like to share your life with, not necessarily in a romantic sense, because we also share our lives with friends, with acquaintances, with colleagues, with so very many people. And of course also who it is that you do not wish to have in your life, in your personal sphere anymore. And what is even more important, that this Two of Swords reversed represents that there is not going to be a conflict, a dichotomy, a contradiction between your sense of logic, your mind, and your heart. And this is not really due to anything miraculous, not even the help of the karmic forces, but this is due to your own inner work, to your own initiative to improve yourself, to change yourself. You figured out a long time ago that the only way life and reality can support you is if you harmonize all aspects of your inner being and make them cooperate with each other. And since you have actually accomplished this, it is only natural for the future to support you, for the future to reflect the result of your inner self-discipline work, which I must say for fire signs it is much more difficult than it is for any other native. And even from the fire signs, Aries is naturally the warrior. Aries is the symbol of courage, the initiator, those who speak the truth and express their opinions regardless of the consequences. So for them it's not so easy to think before they act, or better said, to analyze all the fine details and get the big picture before they act or react. But since you have done this, and since you already made this thinking thing through first of all before you do anything, you made it instinctual, you made it something that you do automatically, well, that is such a great power that it gives you. Because the moment when you do react, when you do express an opinion, when you do express a choice, let's say, that is aligned with your heart, with your mind, and also with your very strong instincts, your willpower. And it is exactly this which will make everything in 2021 that much more easier, because when you do something, when you do express something, when you make a choice or take an initiative, that will certainly lead somewhere. Or when, you take a risk and it doesn't play out in the most favorable sense, you're gonna be absolutely okay with that because you accepted the consequences, because you already thought things through, so you were ready. And this is basically a massive life change, which is merely just a mental pattern. The way you think is different, so everything in life will work differently, and this is really a blessing. A blessing which, I repeat, you have done for yourself. You have created this for yourselves. And the next card which follows is the Ten of Swords reversed. And this is like a massive karmic influence, a reward, so to speak, because the Ten of Swords upright is a really doomy and gloomy card. It means defeat. It means that something is gonna end regardless of what you do. It means that you just simply can't save a situation no matter how much sacrifice you invest into it. But in reverse position, it means that something that you have deemed lost, something that which you already, accepted as defeat, as the end of everything, is gonna miraculously turn around. Of course, this can be just an emotional or psychological energy, but it is still very relevant, because if it is emotional, well, that just means that you are going to get your truth. You are going to see how right you were at one point in the past where you were unsure of yourself, or when life wanted to show you that you were wrong, or you made bad choices, you didn't really do the right thing. So for any Aries native who actually gets the message from their own life, their own fate, their own karmic patterns, that they were actually right, even when they thought they were wrong, even when they thought they were lost, even when they thought they were making a big mistake, well, that is such a wonderful surprise, because it means that they can finally trust their intuition, their instinct, their gut feelings, their impulses, and their relation with the divine that guides them, basically. So this Ten of Swords reverse, regardless of how it plays out, morally, emotionally, or materially, it can also be perfectly valid materially as well. For example, you lost a sum of money in the past because of maybe an error in judgment, and you all of a sudden get it back from the universe, from your karma. The situation turns around, or maybe you get compensated in a court of justice, but it can also mean compensation for things that you have suffered, certain, Ten of Swords moments, so defeat, surrender, not having power over something and having to let it go. Maybe a failed relationship which truly distorted your perceptions about interhuman connections and relationships, love and romance. It doesn't really matter what it is. What truly matters is that you will get your justice. You are gonna be compensated. And most of the year 2021 is actually going to be one of compensation, because this isn't just a one-time event. This is like the overall feeling of the year. So that means that so very many symbolic gestures or events which come to heal the past, to heal something that you suffered, maybe a defeat, maybe a big failure, something that you blamed yourself for, or something that you took total responsibility for, but of course that also meant a certain kind of melancholy, that why weren't you able to succeed, etc. All that negative self-talk. Well, if that gets turned around and it keeps on happening over and over and over again all throughout the year, that is such a wonderful energy, because nothing heals than when life shows you that you are worthy, that you weren't wrong, that you didn't make a mistake, and more importantly, that there are certain things in life, especially one's truth, one's justice, that are truly worth waiting for. And finally, the Judgment reversed. And this is also a truly fantastic card because it means that your life view, your life philosophy, the way you perceive life is definitely going to change, but this change isn't really something new, but quite the opposite. It is going to be something old. But that something old was a moment in your life when you were really, really confident, when you were sure of yourself, when you trusted yourself, your judgment, your vision, your senses, when you lived life in a very passionate and intense way, where it was way more than just going with the flow, having courage to do that. It was more like you being the true controller and leader of your own life and destiny. And it is exactly that enthusiasm, that inner power, that courage, that Martian expression that is going to return in your life, as in your life view, your philosophies, your principles, how you perceive reality. So if everything is based on having faith in yourself, being sure of yourself, of course not in an egocentric or narcissistic or arrogant manner, but rather quite the opposite. It is based on reality, your life, karma or the divine, showing you that you are in the right, that you're doing all the right things, that you are on the right path. So you would actually be silly not to listen to what the universe is reflecting and showing you. And if that self-confidence is based on something truly healthy and almost magical, because that is one way how the year 2021 is going to feel for you guys. So basically you will have all the right reasons to feel like the king of your own castle and the master and ruler of your own lives. So long story short, you will get your Aries specific fiery Aries mojo back. The brave, the bold, the ambitious, the outspoken you is finally going to rise up from the ashes and just burn with passion, with love of life. And you will have a lot of activities in which you're going to be deeply immersed into. So this year is also one of action, and that is exactly why the Two of Swords reversed represents all those choices, options, the ability to decide, the ability to make up your mind, because that is what starts the action. Every action starts in the mind, or let's say heart first of all. Now for natives born under the sign of Taurus, your cards are the King of Swords, the Two of Wands reversed, and the Nine of Coins reversed. Now this combination does suggest that the year 2021 is going to be a year when you are going to input a lot of energy, effort, focus, and hard work into obtaining that which you desire the most in life. So even though it is not going to be very easy, first of all, because the Two of Wands reversed suggests a lot of work, a lot of energy, a lot of effort and focus, regardless if it's intellectual or physical or emotional. You will stand from a place of deep understanding that everything major, everything very, very important in one's life does require sacrifice and does require our energy to be present, to be there all the time. So you are definitely not going to shy away from work, effort, sacrifices, doing everything that needs to be done, regardless, for getting what you want in life. And this King of Swords suggests that before you start anything practical, of course, only for those natives who haven't started it yet, because this energy suggests that most Taurus natives are already working on this. They know what they want. They are absolutely honest with themselves and, with others in their lives. So everyone knows what the Taurus native wants to accomplish in the future. And, some have actually started this work, have started this journey towards accomplishing their biggest goal. And these goals are not dreamy. They are not, things which are way too good to be true. They are not based on, good fortune and anything like that. They are truly practical things that almost any person with a little bit of divine guidance and a little bit of ambition can actually accomplish. So we're not talking about, impossible things. We are talking about accomplishable, logical, down-to-earth things. Even if they are, let's say, emotional in nature. Having greater harmony in your family. Or for those who are single, finding a relationship which works for them. For others, it can be something very practical like changing their jobs or finding an extra source of income or transforming a hobby into livelihood. It can be absolutely anything that is accomplishable and quite possible with a little bit of effort and sacrifice. And also this King of Swords also should suggest that you guys are doing it by the book. Whatever it is, regardless if it's something emotional, something material, something very practical, for example like upgrading or solving health-related problems which have been affecting you for quite some time now, or for others it can be just like quitting an addiction. It can be absolutely anything. You are first of all researching it, studying it, seeing the details, seeing what you need to do in a very logical and practical manner to get where you want. So this King of Swords represents that some natives are going to basically research the subject. Others are going to collect information of how other people accomplish this, how others have achieved this, while others still, especially those who have a very practical element to this, are going to find a specialist, a consultant, or someone who can advise them, someone who has very practical experience, someone who might be doing this professionally. And I could even go as far as some natives are actually going to learn something new in order to get what they want in a very practical manner, as finish a course, finish a new qualification, or, learn something practically from someone. So regardless how this King of Swords creates the methodology, the plan, the inner schematic, the project which has to basically get you where you want to be, in either expressions, it is your plan, it is your future basically that you are going to plan out, and you're going to follow your plan. And the King of Swords is also very good because it is not fixed, it is not rigid, it is quite adaptable. It is always open to new, it is always open to communication, which means advice from others or an inspiration from others. And even more than this, when something is truly important for you and you share that purpose with your loved ones, well, of course, everyone in your life who loves you is going to try to help with whatever they can for you to get exactly where you want to be. Which means that you guys are not going to be the only ones in your life brainstorming. So the more brain power you have in your lives, the quicker you get where you want to get. And also that 9 of Coins is also very important because on its own, it does mean a material loss. It does mean that you will have to surrender a part of your independence, a part of your freedom, a part of your comfort, especially the material comfort. But judging by the two other cards, it's not anything bad or negative or loss in the classic sense, but it is actually an investment. It is actually the sacrifice that you input into getting where you want or getting what you want. And for those of you who want something practical, material, well, it just shows the moment when you actually achieve it. So if it's, for example, a house that you want to buy, a car that you want to buy, something that you want to acquire, well, it shows that you have already invested your money into it and you have it. But at the same time, that is also a minus in your finances because you have transformed your investment into the object of your desires. Or if it's something, let's say, work-related, career-related, you won't have as much time for yourself because you are going to be working or learning something new or investing time and energy into something. So in any case, this Nine of Coins reversed is actually a very, very good sign because it shows that your sacrifice, your investment, the input of your energy is going to produce palpable effects. So even this Nine of Coins is part of your plan, it is part of the big picture, it is already part of the main theme of 2021 because you know that you're gonna work for what you want to accomplish. And it just shows your work paying off. Additionally, for certain natives, especially those who have a problem with debt or financial institution with banks, they have a loan or something like that, it means that they are going to find a way to get rid of it, but of course temporarily that will leave them without as much resources as they're used to. So they will sacrifice a little bit of their comfort, a little bit of their stability and groundedness exactly to eliminate debt from their lives. So even in this case, it is really, really positive. Now for those of you who have been born under the sign of Gemini, your cards are the Star, 10 of Cups and 2 of Coins. Now this is such a truly positive and almost miraculous combination of cards. But if we take a look at the past 3 years of your lives, especially the astrological influences, then these cards take a totally different expression because the last 3 years were so very, very difficult for Gemini natives. Well, on one hand, you had Saturn in the part of your sky, which had to do with profound transformation, losses, the past, the unconscious, traumas, work relations, and resources that you share with others. So we're talking about the 8th house. And in 2020, you also had Jupiter entering this part of your sky. So it expanded, it amplified, it magnified everything. So this means that some of you had losses, material losses. Some of you lost your jobs, your careers. Others went through divorces. Others entered toxic relationships. Others were used by people. Others lost loved ones. So either way, regardless of how we look at it, there is a lot of pain and suffering in the last 3 years of your lives. So it is only natural that a moment comes when this finally heals, when your life story finally takes a different turn, the next page, the next chapter, where life is not about survival anymore, but it is about, just living life and doing those things which you want to do. And of course, duties, obligations, and everything that you have to do and accomplish to keep your life balanced is part of this. But when you have greater freedom and, let's say, what is even more important, emotional clarity in your life, where you know what you feel, you know who you are, you know all those things that resonate with you, and at the same time everything and everyone that doesn't, and you're simply not stressed out and weighed down by the same issues, the same patterns happening over and over again, and you are not a living sacrifice for people in your life, especially your loved ones, your closest friends, but rather you are in a position of balance where everything is mutual and everything is normal, so to speak. So it's not a big drama either in your life or their lives, or life isn't just about hardships and overcoming limitations and challenges, where life is just life with good and bad. Well, when you achieve this state, everything is different. That is when you have that emotional power, the strength to believe in your future, in your greatness, in the brilliance of your intellect, because you are Gemini after all. You are the symbol of the practicality of the mind, the power of words, the strength of communication and interhuman relationship. When you have all of what makes you unique and powerful back, then it is only natural for the star to shine on your sky and lucky, fortunate and hopeful, benevolent things to start happening to you finally after all those years of pain and hurt and actually bad fortune, because there was a lot of bad luck in there with Saturn meeting Pluto, then Jupiter meeting Pluto, then Jupiter meeting Saturn, and the square with Mars, one of the predominant negative aspects of the year 2020, especially the autumn and winter. So without that energy of psychological purge, but the one which feels like a surgery without anesthetic, so it is one of the most painful energies that we can experience psychologically and mentally. Without that, life feels totally different. And this is exactly why all three of these cards, in their own special way, they symbolize regeneration, recovery, healing, entering into a state of normality where you can function, where you can be yourself, where you can have the liberty to think for yourself, to do what you want in life's everyday routine. It's not necessarily about the greater picture, because duties, obligations, and everything that we need to do in order to be okay in life, that will remain naturally. But when you can still be your Gemini self, when you can still be as lighthearted, as humorous, as optimistic, and even chaotic in the positive sense of the word, as you guys would like to be, well, life feels totally different then. And that is exactly what's gonna take place in 2021. Life is gonna feel different. Life is gonna feel like it is supporting you. Life is gonna feel like it's much fairer. And the star card, good things will happen to you. Each day is gonna be better. Each day is gonna be another opportunity for something good to take place in your life. And the Ten of Cups, profound healing. That means healing of your inner wounds, of your emotional, psychological wounds, healing of certain relationships, healing connections between you and your dearest friends, your loved ones, your family, and most importantly, accepting the past, being more than okay with the past, no longer blaming yourself, no longer what if I have done things differently, no longer Did I make the right choice, or should I have acted in a different manner? None of these will matter anymore. You will stand from a place of understanding, of acceptance, and more importantly, that Ten of Cups means that you will embrace your own distinctive spirituality. You know, there are so very many Gemini natives who are not spiritual in a religious and a dogmatic or ritualistic sense, because they're air signs, so everything has to have a certain kind of logic to it. But that doesn't mean that they are not connected to a greater power, that they're not connected to the world of the soul, to the world of the spirit. They just do it their own special kind of way. For example, I know many Gemini natives who meditate, but they don't do it the usual way. They don't sit in peace and quiet and have their eyes closed, but they rather go jogging, they go on a walk in sacred solitude, and the dynamism of their activity puts their lower mind, their Gemini monkey mind, into autopilot, so they can tap into the most elevated thoughts, philosophies, have moments of epiphany, sudden realization, that bright idea, the light bulb moment, the eureka moment. And this is gonna be one of the most treasured, one of the most sacred parts of your life, one of your most sacred routines of the day. And as I say, regardless of what spirituality means for you personally, that is what you're gonna get more of. And even more importantly, it is not gonna be just thoughts, just a frequency, just a vibe, but it is actually going to influence your life in a very, very positive way, especially regarding relationships. If you need to meet that mentor, that special person, someone who truly and deeply understands you, well, that Ten of Cups can represent that karmic meeting of your soul twin, or, Gemini, or your soul parent, your soul mentor, or it doesn't really, even romantic relationship is absolutely possible. And that will also matter very much, because it won't be just you in your world, you conversing with your other Gemini self, your inner Gemini, but it's gonna be a real life person who you can converse with, who you can share your thoughts with, and who can actually understand you, inspire you, and make you feel accepted and understood, which is so very important. And last but not least, that Two of Coins, well, that is the best news from a material perspective, because it means recovery, regeneration, getting everything that you need materially in your life back. It can be job, career, income, physical healing if you have been someone whose health was affected by the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in your 8th house. It can be new business partnerships. It can also mean if you are in an established relationship, it can mean that maybe good fortune comes from your partner, because they might find a source of much greater prosperity, which naturally they're going to share with you. And it doesn't really matter in which way, the karmic forces are going to regenerate the material aspect of your life. What is more important, that you're not going to be alone in it. You are going to share in a very equitable and mutual way. And whenever a Gemini native has something to share and also receives something in return, well, that is their own state of balance. That is a material groundedness where they can truly operate from. And this is how you're going to evolve and grow in the years to come. So 2021 is just gonna be a year of regeneration. So getting back on track, having at least decent material influence, material earthly power, which is money and resources, of course. But the big things come in the years after. Because especially towards the very end of the year, some kind of partnership or collaboration or alliance is very likely, and that is gonna grow and evolve and turn into true prosperity. For natives born under the sign of Cancer, your cards are the Palace of Coins, the Knight of Cups, and the Seven of Swords reversed. I would just like to begin with the mention that for Cancer natives, I use the tarot deck called the Tarot of Dreams, which has 4 additional cards, which are named Palace, respectively Coins, Wands, Swords, and Cups. And originally, I didn't want to include it because it's not really a tarot card, but it kept popping out, so I said, if this is what the universe wants to transmit, I have to keep the Palace of Coins cards. And that is exactly what I did. And its symbolism is really, really positive, especially in upright position, because it means stability. It means that your life is gonna be like a true and authentic temple, your Cancerian shell, so to speak, which offers you safety, protection, groundedness, sacred space for yourself. And for very, very many Cancer natives, this might also refer to their home, their physical home, their house, which they are going to turn into their sacred space. Either by upgrading it, giving it a new style, or rearranging it. But for others, it's actually relocation, moving to somewhere where the place, the area, the physical location, or the culture, or the local community is very meaningful for them. But for others, for other natives, especially those who own a house but they're alone in it, so those who live alone, regardless if it's rent or whatever, for these natives, the Palace of Coins might suggest that in the year 2021, they might not really be alone in their house, because either someone who they love dearly is going to join them, or if you are single and looking, it might be a new relationship, so your partner is going to live with you. But even if it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the physical house, the physical place, it still means, that your life is going to be an authentic carapace, or the Cancerian shell, which makes you feel at home, comfortable, safe, sound, secure, and grounded in your life. So for every Cancer natives, exactly what they lack, exactly what they miss for their lives to feel like this, is what they're going to have very soon. And this Knight of Cups is also very suggestive, because on one hand, the Knights of the Tarot mean freedom. If you are that knight, well, that basically means that you are like a fish in water, like a fish in the ocean. You can swim wherever you want to swim. You can be wherever you want to be. You can daydream. You can feel all the profound feelings without them turning into drama and negativity. Because this is one of the dangers of Cancer natives. When feelings get a little bit too heated or concentrated, it can turn into a big drama. And at the same time, if someone else in your life is going through a massive drama, you can just absorb it and empathically make their drama your own very, very quickly. But that Knight of Cups is upright exactly because you learned not to do this to avoid these kind of situations, and you also learned your emotional triggers. So all you want to do is be free emotionally, to float freely in the ocean of your dreams, of your watery Cancerian world, if this makes sense. And just invest all your emotional energy, emotional intelligence, and the power that you possess as a Cancer native into something good, meaningful, constructive. For example, sharing your experiences with others, art, music, singing, doing some kind of crafts, decorating, or learning how to embrace your artistic side. But of course, for other Cancer natives, especially those who are single and looking, this Knight of Cups can mean another person who will show a genuine romantic interest, and even before it turns into a relationship, this person can really inspire you. They will fit like a glove because they will have the very same emotional tendencies as you Cancer natives have. So understanding and the connection, the spark, the empathy, just knowing how the other one feels and what they're going through is gonna be basically the magic of this relationship. And because this connection is going to be so very magical, or I'm not even sure how to describe this, it will feel so right and natural. You are gonna take it very, very slowly, but not because of any fears or insecurities, but rather you truly want to be immersed into this new relationship that is being born in your lives. Now, for those of you who are already in an established bond, especially if that bond is long term and it hasn't formed in the recent past, this Knight of Cups means that both you and your partner may develop some kind of humanitarian or charitable interests where both of you are going to do something to make the lives of others, especially those who need sympathy, who need understanding, who need a good gesture. You're going to make the lives of those people much more pleasant. It means one way or another getting involved into some kind of charitable, humanitarian, or nourishing, healing, supportive activities. And whatever these activities or purposes or goals might be, for example, it can be joining a charity, doing some volunteer work, or simply helping someone vulnerable out. It is going to make you feel like heroes. It is going to make you feel truly wonderful that whatever you're doing matters, and it's basically ennobling you. It is going to be just as healing, nurturing, and positive for you guys than for those who are the recipients of all of this. And finally, we have the Seven of Swords reversed, which means two different things. On one hand, it means that those of you who have any kind of legal issues or official procedures going on right now in your life, it doesn't have to be conflictual whatsoever. It might just be having to resolve certain legal documents or taxes, or with institutions, terminating contracts, or following through an inheritance legal procedure. So you guys are going to do your very, very best to eliminate this legal side of things from your life, because you want to be as free as you possibly can from all of this. So, symbolically speaking, this means a gesture, an act of withdrawal from society, but not in a bad sense, and not in an isolating sense. For example, this can mean like reducing the hours you spend on social media, not giving the internet and the virtual connections in your life more importance than you should. For some, it can actually mean getting off the internet and media and not allowing it to influence your life at all. For others, it can mean a much simpler kind of lifestyle, but mostly legally speaking, as in not having as many credit cards, bank accounts, all those things which have to do with paperwork and legislation and rules and regulations. So basically this means trying to simplify your life as much as you can and eliminating as many unnecessary legal elements and contracts and paperwork, terms and conditions as you possibly can. And on the other hand, it also represents an attitude of yours where you finally learned your lessons. You don't want to get involved in other people's business. You want to stay away from drama, even when that drama is something that affects the whole of society. You even want to be detached from the political and social aspects of life. So implicitly, this means that you will limit certain friendships or social connections from entering your life, because when you smell drama or when you smell that someone has an interest and it's not just genuine, open and friendly, well, you're not gonna allow that person in your life anymore. So basically this means fewer friends, but you're more than happy with this. For those born under the sign of Leo, your cards are the Lovers reversed, the Seven of Wands reversed, and the Temperance reversed. Now, I do believe that this unique combination of cards represents the Mars and Venus conjunction taking place in your sign on July the 13th, 2021. And the reason why this is so very important, it's because this is like a profound psychological regenerative energy which awakes you to life, which basically it ignites the fires of passion in your hearts, exactly that which makes a Leo native a Leo. So basically the reason why all three cards are in reverse position is because a Leo native is the hero, it is the center of their own universe. And even though some people see this as a selfish attitude or self-importance or thinking too highly of yourself, what they don't understand that Leo natives are born for this role. It is their archetype. It is what they are supposed to do. And, other people simply cannot do this with the mastery, with the passion and that genuine, innocent love of life that Leo natives are kind of notorious for. So even though the year 2021 is all about Leo natives and no one else, finally they become the superstars of their own show. They become the center of their own universes. And this is actually a very good and positive thing, and not selfish or egocentric whatsoever, because that is what they were designed for by the great divine architect. And also, these last years, Leo natives were not really able to live life this way, to be themselves in a very unlimited way. And many times they couldn't even listen to their hearts, they couldn't listen to their instincts, because either their family, someone in their family had a lot of problems and they just had to be there. They just had to make the sacrifice. While other Leo natives sacrificed for fake friends or toxic lovers, toxic relationships, and they really got burned. So much so that many times they lost confidence in themselves and they turned their passion and their passionate way of living into almost vengeance. So Leo natives had so much conflict, emotional and relationship challenges in their lives, while others were simply disabled from being able to be their Leo selves because they had to sacrifice for their loved ones. And that is not optional. They would rather sacrifice everything than to live with the fact that they left their loved ones to their fate. So basically, even though the past, especially the recent past, the last 6 years were really difficult, there was basically no other way around it. So no one is to blame. Even when Leo natives made mistakes or made unwise choices, especially in love and relationships, while others not so favorable career choices where they might have sacrificed a big opportunity that the universe offered only to them in order for them to be able to support other people, loved ones, etc. It doesn't matter how the past played out. No one is to blame because it was what it was. Even the bad things were alchemized into wisdom, into life experiences, choices that must be never done again the same way, the same manner. So basically there is not much regret that Leo natives feel. And also by the present moment, they have already adapted to this lifestyle of having to sacrifice so much for others, or they have already embraced those moments when they simply can't listen to their hearts, their feelings, their passion, their intensity. They have to forcefully choose the logical thing, the rational thing, or they cannot risk as much as they used to. They have to be diligent, precautious, or many times they just have to swallow their pride and not give way to conflict and those moments when the twisted opinions of others really trigger their inner warrior. But it is exactly because you have done and lived through all of this and you actually mustered the inner strength to go against your own nature when life required this. The year 2021 gives you your old life and your old self back. Every card is reversed here because you are gonna be the most important person in your own life. Lovers reversed. The love that you have, the passion, the courage, the willpower that you have inside of you is gonna be invested into your life, into your story, into your goals, into your efforts to achieve success, accomplishment, realization. And because you will finally live life so passionately and everything in your life is going to be about you, you will become very magnetic. You will become very attractive to other people, hence the lovers reversed. And ironically, this is going to be one-sided, where it is others that shower you with attention, with admiration, with love, etc. But you will not fall into the trap of giving this that much importance. How generous other people are, how kind and loving and etc. will simply not matter to you. The only circumstance in which someone will matter very much is if you feel the love, if you feel the passion, the attraction in your heart unconditionally. If there's any condition or strings attached, well then emotionally you will definitely not get involved. Even if they shower you with all the riches in the world, you will still not feel indebted whatsoever to those people. And also, you're going to be totally honest about this, and surprisingly, this will make you even more attractive. So emotionally, romantically, and even sensually, you will have a lot of activity in 2021, just that most of it won't really matter to you, it won't really spark up your interest, so you will just observe it, behold it, and just enjoy the show. The Seven of Wands reversed is even more important because it finally means the struggle and the feeling that many things in life are a big struggle and it needs a lot of energy, sacrifice, time, etc. that will end. Of course, it is an inner choice, first of all, when you will say, well, I'm no longer gonna struggle. I will rather allow things to turn out the way they're fated, the way they want to turn out. I'm not gonna oppose, I'm not gonna struggle, I'm not gonna fight other people's wars. And because of this attitude of acceptance and surrender, not wanting to control the outcome of things, it is exactly that way how you enter into a state of flow from every single perspective, not necessarily materially just. And this implicitly also means that many things will just come to you, head your way with great ease and quickness. Exactly because you won't care as much, so that means you won't put up the resistance. But the Temperance in reverse position does also contain a warning, because the things which will flow into your life, into your sphere, some of them are gonna come in great excess. Exactly those things which you have missed the last 6 years of your life. If it was like material things like income, money, greater prosperity, that is what is coming. If it was like emotional emptiness, then it's emotion that is entering your life in great excess. If it was fun, enjoyment, doing a lot of things for yourself, then it is those opportunities which enter your life in great excess. But this excess also has a karmic element to it, because a part of it is temptation, where the universe checks if you truly learned your lesson about measure. Because if you are the center of your universe, if your life story is about you, then you also have to protect yourself from dangers of excess. Like a really practical example, let's say some Leo natives just didn't have enough time for themselves, and all of a sudden they get some kind of job or any kind of business where income will come passively in their lives, and they find themselves all of a sudden with all this extra spare time, which can represent an excess. Now, of course, they are going to use that time to keep the inner child happy and in really good mood and good humors. So that means having fun, living life, etc. But it will be their responsibility and duty to also allocate time to keep on learning, keep on, let's say, studying, improving yourself, gaining experience in the relevant areas of your life. And if you learn how to manage your time wisely, even more good things will follow naturally. Because if you pass a karmic test, a temptation, well, those are the moments when you truly hit the jackpot, when the universe smiles upon you. But at the same time, certain nuances of this excess just needs to be embraced by Leo natives, because as I said, the excess is gonna be exactly what they lacked all these years, So of course they're going to embrace it, enjoy it, and dig into it. Just be careful and diligent. Especially, the temperance. It can be, if it's alcohol, if it's something that has also a destructive secondary nature, be careful with it. For natives born under the sign of Virgo, your cards are the Two of Cups reversed, the Ten of Coins reversed, and the Magician reversed. Now, first of all, the reverse positions don't mean anything negative or don't mean the opposite of the symbolism of these cards, but in your case, they actually mean that whatever happens in 2021 is not gonna be under your control, but at the same time, it is gonna be created by you, especially by certain things, gestures, seeds of intention that you have planted in the very recent past in 2020. For some even 2019, 2020. These 2 years might have been years when you had a lot of plans, a lot of initiative, when you worked on projects, when you had collaborations with others, and regardless how those things played out, because most of them ended in stagnation or it just wasn't right, but still, by doing all those things, you have planted seeds of intention into the universe, expressing what it is that you desire, what you want to accomplish, what you want to learn, what you want to work with, and the life that you basically want to live in the future. And the reason why those things didn't work out too well in the past was because the universe basically took your sacrifice, it took the energy, it took the effort, it basically absorbed it in order for you guys now in 2021 to get a version of all of those which kind of exceeds your expectation. Now, this is a little bit ironic, maybe this is the humor of the universe, because Virgo natives do like things to be as close to perfection as it is possible. All the small details, all the little elements, the small picture, but also the big picture, and the arrangement matters to them very, very much. This is how their minds are. But they're also aware that, a human being cannot be perfect, cannot accomplish 100% the mental image they have of something. And that is exactly why the universe took this in its own hands to give you a version which truly exceeds your expectations. But the time in the past, when you invested all the effort, and that Ten of Coins reverse can mean that a lot of money, a lot of material resources were drained from your accounts or from your other areas of life. It can mean sacrifices, it can mean spending, investment, even loans or even credit. But from a human perspective, that is maybe a loss, that is maybe a sacrifice which didn't pay off too well. But from a karmic perspective, it is investment which the universe can just turn around in the most miraculous ways, karmically of course, which means that the manifestation might have absolutely nothing to do with where you invested your money or resources, time, whatever, originally. It can be something totally different, but from a karmic perspective, it is getting what you wanted, getting what you worked for, getting what you have asked for. And this might coincide with the period when Jupiter enters the sign of Pisces, your opposite sign, the 7th house, which can mean good fortune. Everything that doesn't actually depend on you. For example, partners, partnerships, associates, friends, contracts, any kind of contractual relationship or very, very important people in your life. Good fortune or completion or something big like an opportunity, an offer or help or solidarity, donation, whatever, can come from there. And that means that even though it doesn't depend on you, you are the recipient of all the positivity, of all the good things. And naturally, it is also karma, because you have done a lot of good things, not just in the recent past, but mostly all your lives, and it is only natural for this to return to you when you need it the most. And when you need it the most is not something that we human beings can decide for ourselves, because our vision, our mind, and our logic is way too limited. We would have to know the future to know when we need it the most, but that is exactly why we have the universe, the divine intelligence guiding us. It knows when we need it the most. And it seems like many Virgo natives need it the most in 2021 for their own unique reasons. So the Two of Cups reversed is something emotional. If you're in an established bond, it means basically the realizations of certain plans, desires, and goals you had with your partner and you couldn't accomplish it at that time. Or it means doing something for your partner, or maybe your partner doing something for themselves which you really, really needed to, or it might be something that you have planned together for the greater good of your relationship and you as a couple, and that is going to be accomplished in 2021. For those of you who are single and looking, well, it means that love and romance will find you, but you won't expect it. There was a time in the past when you truly prepared yourself, when you were really, really looking, when you did everything that you could to, find someone, to embrace love. You dreamt about it, you desired it, you wanted it so very badly, but it didn't lead anywhere practically. And now when you are not as prepared or have much better things to do in your personal life or in your career or whatever than to just dream about love, well, it will find you in a very unexpected and even a little bit awkward way. That's why the Two of Cups is reversed. What you wished for, what you asked for is coming, but you are not gonna be prepared. It will catch you by surprise. The Ten of Cups reversed, now that is pretty straightforward. Karmically, you will recover what you have lost, especially money, etc. And for some Virgo natives, this can also be an inheritance or a big gift that you receive either from your parents or from grandparents, from your family. So it is an inheritance, but no one has to pass on. But for other Virgo natives, this can mean a big investment, because after all, the Ten of Coins is reversed, which means that the large sum of money or a significant amount or maybe something else is going to already be invested, so it will be used up, but it will matter for the long distant future quite a lot. So even though this is an investment, so you have to spend the money or maybe even get a loan or something, yet still what you invested into is gonna be not just important, but also something which might serve you for the rest of your life. So it is fated. It is something that the universe is going to, bring together for you in a very ideal way. And finally, that's Magician reversed. Well, this represents exactly what I said, that those seeds of intentions that you have already planted and didn't work out the way you expected, now those are gonna grow but in a way totally outside your influence, totally outside your mastery, your power, your control. But that is not a bad thing, because you still get what you worked for, what you asked for, etc. It means manifestation, and more importantly, it means that the way you always thought, let's say, reality and spirituality, or maybe the power of the mind works, now that is going to change in the most positive sense possible. Because, Virgo native will immediately know what is not possible, what is not likely, what will not really work out. And this also limits one's power, one's inner strength, one's faith a little bit. But when the universe actually shows you that even those things which we think that are improbable and impossible, those can enter reality in a second, well, this surprise, this positive shock can very quickly upgrade Virgo natives' understanding and knowledge of how life, the universe, reality works. Of course, all of this has downside, if we can call it that way, because the year 2021 is gonna feel like the Twilight Zone. It is going to feel like something that you just simply cannot understand, cannot see the logic in it, cannot see the reason. So you are going to have so very many moments of confusion, but not in a negative sense, because if good things start happening to you and you don't know why, how, what happened exactly, or this is too good to be true, it kind of sparks up your inner excitedness, your sense of adventure. So that is the most positive kind of confusion, when you just don't know where the good things, the resolution, the solution to problems, the help, the thing that you need the most is gonna come from. But since all of this is really good and positive, and you will know that one time in your life you have asked for all of those things that you are getting, you will be so very comfortable surrendering to not knowing, not having control, being a little bit confused. You will be absolutely fine with that, because when life feels like the Twilight Zone in the most positive sense, well, that is something that you can truly work with, and you will have a lot of good stories to tell your grandchildren. Well, this concludes the first part of our Taroscope. If you are a Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, Aquarius or Pisces native, you're going to find your Taroscope in the second part. Thank you so much for listening. We wish everyone a very happy, blessed and magical new year.